Hi, this is Naveen Nanjundappa. Today's question is how to handle unplanned requests and unplanned customer issues during the sprint. I'm sure this is the most common situation that all of you would be facing. The team has created a sprint goal. They have identified some of the product backlog items that adds value towards the sprint goal, and they plan for it, start working. Suddenly, you get a request completely unplanned, but comes up with a request saying, we have to get this done at the earliest possible. Sometimes immediately, maybe a few times, a few days within the sprint, or later on. But then the situation is how to handle unplanned requests and customer issues during the sprint. Let's look at a couple of strategies that you can have. Remember, strategies are not part of Scrum, and these strategies might work, might not work for your ecosystem. You might want to consider and reevaluate if things become better for your specific situation. The product owner can create a product backlog item and add it to the product backlog for further consideration. Of course, this is an unplanned request that comes up or a customer issue that comes up. Every time there is an unplanned request or any kind of request that comes up, the product owner takes the accountability to create a product backlog item and put that into the product backlog for prioritizing with the existing product backlog items. If the new request is of the highest priority and needs an immediate action, probably the product owner can negotiate with the team members, the developers, to check what is the impact on the sprint goal and how this emergency request can be accommodated during the sprint based on the priority and then the focus that the product owner and the teams collaborate towards. The team can have the working agreement, mutually agreed behaviors, so that they can understand even before somebody talks about it, they all know up in hand how to handle an unplanned request or a customer issues within the team. The working agreements are typically mutually agreed behaviors and actions that as a team you follow to make yourself more effective to handle the situations during the sprint. So the working agreement can say that any request that comes up, we might want to reject it, or we might want to put it in a product backlog, or we will consider it having an additional plan associated with it. So a working agreement can describe how a team can handle an unplanned request during the sprint. Blocking the certain time during the sprint. I'm specifically using the word blocking the time, I'm specifically using the time blocking the sprint. I'm specifically using the term blocking the time during the sprint. It is not buffer time. Typically, people misuse the buffer time as external added time to finish the work. Example, if an activity takes 4 hours and a buffer is 2 hours, the psychology is that allowed time is 6 hours for me to finish this. But the case of a block time is like a reservoir that you have. You block 10% of your time during the sprint or 20% of your team's capacity during the sprint for such unplanned request. There are situations where the product is released into the market, and I have been working with the teams where we have blocked 50% of the sprint capacity for the unplanned work and the support required immediately after the product is released to the market. And that's absolutely fine. This allows you to be more flexible and handle all the unplanned activities during the sprint. In fact, you can have a separate team to handle these unplanned requests or customer issues. Yes, having a separate team can resolve the problem, but over a period of time, it is good to have the same team to manage all the requests within the single Scrum team. So, all the requests, be it unplanned or planned or the customer issues, everything gets routed to the same common product backlog and the teams can handle it. Having a separate team is a temporary measure which you can try if the unplanned requests are frequent and are hampering the teams to achieving in their sprint goal. Try a shorter sprint. Let's say you have a 2-week sprint or a 4-week sprint, you can give a try for a 1-week sprint or a lesser. Depending on the number of requests that you get during a sprint, a 1-week sprint could be a better choice for handling customer requests and unplanned leaves so that you can plan for a shorter sprint and the risk and the impacts are going to be relatively shorter. Remember, shorter sprints does not mean the team members are pressurized to work faster. Shorter sprints means we are taking lesser risk towards achieving the goal. There could be many more strategies, but I'm hoping that with these 5 you can get started. Let me know if any of these worked for you, and if you have any other questions, you can please message me and I will try to create a video for you answering those questions in the upcoming session. Thank you so much. This is Naveen Nanjundappa signing off now.